Imagine waking up tomorrow with no bad habits. You don't procrastinate. You don't scroll endlessly through social media. You don't eat junk food. You don't stay up too late. You do everything you're supposed to do without even thinking about it. Sounds amazing. So why doesn't your brain work that way? If bad habits make our lives worse, why do they feel so easy to repeat? And why is replacing them with good habits so incredibly difficult? Most people think it's because they lack discipline. But psychology and neuroscience tell a very different story. The truth is, your brain isn't trying to ruin your life. It's trying to keep you alive. To understand why, we need to go back hundreds of thousands of years. Imagine you're one of the first humans. Food is scarce. Predators are everywhere. Every day is a fight to survive. In that world, wasting energy could mean death. So evolution rewarded brains that found shortcuts. Brains that avoided unnecessary effort. Brains that grabbed rewards the moment they appeared. Those instincts helped our ancestors survive. The problem is, your brain still follows the same rules today. Except now, instead of searching for berries, it's surrounded by unlimited snacks, endless entertainment, and apps designed to capture your attention. One of the biggest reasons bad habits feel so satisfying is a chemical called dopamine. Many people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical. That's not entirely true. Scientists now know dopamine is more closely linked to motivation and anticipation than pleasure itself. It doesn't simply reward you after something happens. It pushes you to do it again. This became clear in a series of experiments led by neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz. Researchers discovered that dopamine activity often peaks before the reward arrives, not after. Your brain becomes excited by the possibility of a reward. That's why checking your phone feels so tempting. It's not because every notification is interesting. It's because your brain thinks the next one might be. Social media companies understand this extremely well. Every swipe, every refresh, every notification, every like, they're all unpredictable. And your brain loves unpredictability. Psychologists call this a variable reward system. It's the same principle that makes slot machines so addictive. You never know when the next reward will appear. So your brain keeps trying. Again. And again. And again. But phones aren't the only problem. Sugar works in a surprisingly similar way. Thousands of years ago, sweet foods were rare and packed with valuable calories. Finding fruit or honey was a huge advantage. So evolution encouraged us to eat as much as possible whenever we found it. Today, supermarkets are filled with foods containing more sugar than our ancestors could have imagined. Your brain still reacts as if those calories might disappear tomorrow. The same thing happens with procrastination. People often think procrastination is laziness. In reality, psychologists have found that it's often an emotional coping strategy. When a task feels stressful, boring, or overwhelming, your brain looks for something that feels better right now. Watching one video. Checking one message. Scrolling for just a minute. The relief is immediate. The consequences come later. And your brain almost always chooses the immediate reward. Behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner spent decades studying how rewards shape behavior. His experiment showed that behaviors followed by rewards become stronger over time. The brain learns one simple lesson. Do this again. The more often you repeat a habit, the more automatic it becomes. Eventually, your brain doesn't even ask whether it's a good idea. It simply follows the same path it has taken hundreds of times before. This is why breaking a bad habit feels so difficult. You're not fighting against laziness. You're fighting against a neural pathway that has been strengthened through repetition. The good news is that the brain never stops changing. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. Every time you repeat a different behavior, you're slowly building a new pathway. At first, it feels awkward, unnatural, even uncomfortable. But with enough repetition, the new behavior becomes the easier option. In other words, your brain doesn't actually love bad habits. It loves habits that are familiar, rewarding, and require the least amount of effort. It doesn't care whether those habits help you or hurt you. It only cares whether they've worked before. That's why changing your environment is often more effective than relying on willpower. Remove the temptation. Make the good habit easier. Make the bad habit harder. Eventually, Your brain adapts. So why does your brain love bad habits? Not because it's broken. Not because you're weak. But because it was designed for a world that no longer exists. The same brain that once helped humans survive in the wilderness is now trying to survive in a world filled with endless temptations. And perhaps the greatest challenge of modern life is teaching an ancient brain how to live in a modern world.